I'm going to mute everyone out and thank you again for participating today. As I said, my name is Cisco Hall, and the name of this call is Green by Design. It's a midday call. I will be on with you every day, every Tuesday at 12 o'clock noon, and we'll be providing a little bit of value to you and to your contacts about, I'll probably be pretty focused on some business-related topics. In fact, today what we're going to talk about is sifting through different opportunities. You know, with so many opportunities readily available at really just a quick click, what are some of the things that people should look at? And I chose this topic because I had a great meeting with a friend this past weekend, just before the start of the Labor Day weekend, and she was explaining to me, you know, that she's had some great success early on with a direct selling company that she partnered with, and 5 years later, it's all pretty much fizzled away. And a big question that she had was really she just wanted to pick my brain and kind of find out how I was able to develop a business that had such sustainability and maybe share some tips together. I think that's a great way to have a conversation with a person and to really find out more about what their needs. But today I'm just going to kind of talk about a couple of those bullet points that we talked about in our meeting. Obviously, when you're sifting through opportunities, this is a very large decision, and it needs to be a very large decision. So this is not going to answer all of the questions out there, but hopefully it gives you a little bit to consider. The first bullet points that I put together is really just owning your own data. This is a starting point, what I'm talking about, and understanding what might be some of the other opportunities that are out there. Now, if you're with a company right now, these might be important points for you to understand as you have discussions with others that are with other companies, or maybe you're searching to add to your existing business, because I know several people out there that maintain multiple businesses and diversify themselves. So some of the basic language pieces that I think is very important that not everybody usually pays attention to is that I pulled from a couple of cool places here. The first one is in direct sales, independent representatives, also known as independent distributors, sales representatives, or consultants, market their products in a variety of ways, including one-on-ones, home parties, and the internet. And that's from Forbes.com. Forbes is a great resource for any entrepreneur. If you're on this call, you've probably already been out there, but go ahead and do some searches on some of the articles out there. This one actually came from an article of, can you really make money in direct sales? But what I liked about this paragraph or this statement was to indicate that direct sales is a little bit different from the concept of multi-level marketing. See, I get, and lots of times in the business that I'm in, we have a completely different business model. In fact, ours is called consumer direct marketing. And the major difference is that people think that multi-level marketing is a business type. And it isn't a business type. It's a form of compensation plan. Direct selling is the organization, and the multi-level marketing is how you're getting compensated on the back end. So there's a pretty cool little statement here from the Federal Trade Commission. It says there are multi-level marketing plans, and then there are pyramid schemes, probably another term that you have heard of in the past. Before signing on the dotted line, study the company's track record, ask lots of questions, and seek out independent opinions about the business. Now, a pyramid scheme is different than a multi-level marketing plan. And you should really understand those differences before partnering with any company. But even long before you start getting into the comp plan, there's some other basic questions that you should ask yourself. First of all, from a personal production standpoint, do you have to have parties? Do you have to maintain a certain amount of volume? Do you understand how that volume is configured? Do you have to manage orders? Do you manage customer service? You know, what happens when an order comes in wrong or one of your clients or customers has a complaint? And if the company manages the customer service, have you ever done any research, or have you ever looked into what their customer service statistics are or how they handle things? I know of a very large company with a lot of success that's been growing, well, I should say a lot of recent success. And then I found out that two people that had left that company had been so frustrated with the customer service They had customers on hold for up to 30 minutes. I know all of the statistics behind my company's customer service, and you should know that going in. Because if you remember, I don't know if you've ever had a sales job before or if you've ever represented a brand or a service or a company in any way, shape, or form, but you can have the best personality and you're that front line discussion with your clientele. But if the promises aren't being followed up on the back end of things, then you probably are going to be left with broken promises. And of course, that's your reputation. And these are some of the things that I really want people to think about when they are looking at various different opportunities. Is my reputation going to be protected? And is this going to be in line with what I want to have representing myself on the back end? Another question, do you have to buy a website? What are the hidden fees? What are some of the things that they kind of brush to the side of, oh yeah, well that's an extra, and that's an extra, and that's an extra? If you don't ask the questions up front, you may find yourself a little frustrated with some of the answers a month, 2 months, 3 months in down the road. The next one is are there startup fees? Now, most direct selling companies have some sort of a fee or startup cost. And actually, it's one of the major differences behind multi-level marketing and some of the other business models. In multi-level marketing, you have to pay a fee that then goes to the people that are in your, as they call, upline or support team, the people above you. The recruitment fee is what pays above you. That's a legal way of shifting money. That's not illegal, and it's actually built into the comp structure of a lot of companies. It's something you should understand. There are companies out there that don't have startup fees. And then there's companies out there that have kit fees or certain purchase requirements that need to start in the beginning in order for you to achieve different things. There's a lot of different nuances behind these, and if there's one piece of advice that I could give out there that should resonate with you is to understand these varying different pieces. What is the money that I'm putting up pay for? And if you can break that down and give me an answer real quick, well then you've done your research and you really understand what you're looking at. Once you figure out some of those basics, you might want to start to focus on products and service. Now, from my experience, the people that I've met that are in the direct selling industry, it was the products that brought them to the table. The products or the service, something that they needed or wanted, made sense, and then making money, introducing it to others, made sense to them as well. And what that does, and this is just a little bit of word of caution, is that can often put you in an emotional state. If it makes sense to you and you feel good about something, you might make a decision based on how you reacted. And I want you to take some of these questions back with you so that you can see if they really apply with what you're trying to achieve. Excuse me. First thing is this something you can get passionate about? I mean, let's be honest. When you're developing a business, no matter what the business is, if you're purchasing a franchise, you have a startup company with a traditional brick and mortar storefront, is this something you can get passionate about? Because a business takes effort. A business is going to take your emotion and it's going to take your passion to get you through those difficult, slow times or times when you really need to dig deep to get over that hump and really hit a tipping point. Another question is, what part of the economy does this take place in? What element of the economy are you really marketing to? If it's a product or a service, you got to ask yourself, is this something that people buy, and how often do they buy it? Now, obviously, the answer is going to be yes, they buy it, but how often do they buy it is a question that isn't always asked. Is it a luxury? Does this product or service, is it going to be affected by the economy? We recently had some serious tanks over there in the stock market. And I know of a company that recently went under that really built itself up on a lot of hype and had a lot of participants. It was really a thriving business as far as the energy in the space is concerned about people getting involved. A lot of those people went to a financial company. And if you jumped ship to a financial company, what did you understand about finance? What did you understand about the advice they were going to give you? And how was that affected recently by the Dow Jones crash? These are the types of questions that I don't think a lot of people ask themselves prior to analyzing an opportunity. How big is your market? You know, is it sustainable? Are you talking about a certain demographic? Is this people that are only a certain age? Is this people that are only a certain income amount? Is this people that are only interested in certain elements of life, like just exercise or fitness professionals, or is it just weight loss, or is it just financial people, or is it just insurance people? Is it just travelers? Who's your market? How big is it? And who are your competitors out there? Another thing to ask yourself is, what is the frequency a customer is going to come back? In my organization, we call it a reorder rate. They purchase their products, and how often they purchase it is a statistic we're very proud of. But there could be products and services out there that you're looking at, and you need to ask yourself, is this a one-time thing? I know in certain business models, it's more of an immediate salesperson type of scenario. You might bring some product, host a party, and then sell the product right then and there. And you could make a lot more money a lot quicker. But what is your personal production when it comes to that? Are you carrying around goods? Do you have to carry inventory? Are you maintaining your personal schedule around, how many hours are you putting into this? Can this be done truly from home, or is it really just more of a flexible opportunity? And then, of course, is this parallel to your beliefs, efforts, and goals? What is it you're trying to achieve? That should really be the first question that you ask yourself, and it should be written down on paper before you start looking at anything out there. What is it I want? You know, we're not just talking about theory. We're talking about if I go to a person and I say, I need to make an extra $2,000 a month, is that person going to be able to provide you with a plan and what it's going to take and efforts that it's going to take? Obviously, there's going to be some variables in there, but are those efforts going to be outlined to you clearly so that you know what it's going to take in order to achieve those things? These are all elements that need you to remove emotion. You need to ground yourself. You've got to do company research. And I'm not just talking about going on pissedconsumer.com or going on to one of these sites where people are natural-born complainers. Those are not valuable research. I'm talking about the Better Business Bureau. I'm talking about organizations that are put in place to provide valuable research for you. Where is the leadership from? You know, have they been with 1, 2, 3 different companies? Is the company that they're with because they successfully built another business? And then start to ask yourself, well, what's the next business are they going to build? When I was first taking a close look at my opportunity, the first thing that I had in my mind was a legacy for my children. I wanted to know, is this willable? Is this something I can pass on to my family? And if it is, who's driving the ship? Who are the people that are in charge here? How long have they been in charge? What are their mission statements? What are their goals, their vision? How do they uphold themselves in the community? What's the culture of the business? What kind of training is going to be provided for you? And do they have a vision of the future? Now, I'm not just talking about this quarter's numbers. Another thing to keep in mind is who's driving the ship. You know, you might have a CEO, but if this is a publicly traded company, you best well believe that they're going to be taking a lot of guidance from shareholders. And do you know those shareholders? Are those shareholders people that have the same culture and vision that you have? Excuse me. And are these things parallel to your goals? I don't know if you guys noticed, but on the last slide and on this slide, is it parallel to your beliefs and your goals? Remember, this decision's about you. And when you make this decision, you need to make sure that you're identifying things that are relevant to you, not to what the person that's talking to you is pitching you on. And another thing to keep in mind, too, when you're reviewing all of this, is who's the team? I mean, if I'm looking at a company, I'm going to be taking a look at that company, and I'm going to be talking to multiple teams. I'm going to do some research. I've had a couple of people actually on my team find me on the internet because they were interested in the brand and the product, but then wanted to find out who some of the leaders are out there. So who are the people, and you should be asking multiple teams different questions, or the same questions, I should say, and see how the answers are. How have they created duplication in their business? What value are they going to bring to you and to your people? Treat this like an interview. You are a valuable asset to anyone that partners with you. And anyone in the direct selling world knows that somebody that's going to do this level of research is a person that they want on their team. And when you have that, you need to stand your ground in a position of posture and demand the answers to the questions that you find valuable. You know, and these questions are some of those bullet points. And hopefully you can find yourself, you can find a little usage of it in the future. And then the last question is, do they have a system in place? How are you going to be able to plug in? What are you going to need to do in order to get started? You know, I have a lot of people that come to me and they just immediately want to get started and go out there and start talking to people. And I always push back and ask them to slow down. And I take the example of a Dunkin' Donuts or a franchise as a way to relate to them. I'll say to them, you know, if you paid $1 million for a Dunkin' Donuts franchise, you certainly don't believe you're going to start selling coffee on the corner tomorrow morning. There's a lot that you need to learn, and you need a lot to you need to be able to put yourself into a training seat right from day one. Stay coachable and make sure that it's going to duplicate as you start to introduce it to others. So thank you guys so much for your time. Thanks for the Periscope. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to be switching games. I'd love for you guys to plug in to me in the future updates. I'm going to be here every Tuesday at 12 o'clock Eastern Time with a different topic relating to the direct sales industry. Connect with me. You'll find me on Facebook at Cisco Holland or at Twitter at Cisco Holland. And if you were on this overview today or on this meeting today, we're going to provide you with the recording so you can share it with your teams, and hope you'll join us in the future. For those of you that are interested, I'm going to change gears right now, and I'm going to shift over to explaining a little bit about how my opportunity, the current company that I've partnered with, works, and I'm going to share a little bit about the company's story, my personal story, and about the products and services that we offer for others out there. So for those of you on Periscope, thanks guys. Have a great day and catch you soon. And for anyone that is on Zoom, hopefully you'll stick with us and find some value in what I'm going to share with you